It's Christmas time, and I've always wondered about the origins of the names in the biblical Nativity story. Join me as I learn where the names of those who witnessed the first Christmas come from and what they mean. Since Jesus is the reason for the season, I'll start here. The name Jesus is derived from the Latin Isus, which itself comes from the Greek transliteration of the Hebrew Yeshua, and the name Yeshua is shortened from the older Yehoshua or Joshua, and it means Yahweh is salvation or God is salvation. The name etymology is tied to the Semitic root to deliver or to rescue, and it was commonly used in ancient Hebrew and Aramaic, with variations such as Yeshua in later Hebrew, Aramaic, and Syriac. In English, the name became Jesus following the great vowel shift in the 15th century and the later differentiation of the letters J from I in the 16th century. The name Mary also has deep historical and religious significance, with multiple possible meanings and origins. It's derived from the Hebrew name Miriam, which is found in the Old Testament as the name of Moses' sister. The exact meaning of Miriam, and by extension Mary, is debated, with several theories, one interpreting that it comes from the Hebrew root mur, meaning bitter, possibly reflecting Miriam's hardships as a slave in Egypt. Another common meaning is beloved or well-beloved. There is also suggestions that the name could connect to the idea of rebelliousness, which could refer to Miriam's defiance of Pharaoh's orders during the Exodus. Additionally, some other sources propose that the name could be derived from the words meaning beloved or love in ancient Egyptian. Joseph's origins go back to the Hebrew name Yosef, and its meaning is thought to come from a variety of sources. One interpretation connects the name to the Hebrew word for asaph, meaning to increase or to add, suggesting that Joseph's birth is seen as a divine blessing, with the hope that God would continue to bless and multiply the family. Another explanation links it to the idea of taken away, symbolizing the belief that God had removed sorrow or reproach. The angel who appears to Mary announcing she would give birth to Jesus is named Gabriel, and it comes from the Hebrew name Gabriel, which is a combination of two words, Gever, which is a possessive form of strong man, and El meaning God, so it could read as God is my strength. Another important family in the story is Elizabeth's family. Elizabeth, the Virgin Mary's cousin, along with her husband Zechariah, are described as elderly and childless. But God works a miracle in their lives, enabling Elizabeth to conceive a child that will grow up to be John the Baptist. The name Elizabeth comes from the Hebrew words El meaning God and Shava meaning to swear or oath. The name Elizabeth therefore means God is my oath. Next we have the name of her husband Zechariah, which is a masculine name of Hebrew origin that means God or Yahweh remembers. It comes from the Hebrew root Zakar, which means to remember, and Yah, which is one of the names of the God of Israel. Their son is John the Baptist, and his name in English comes from Johannes, which came from the Greek and Latin Ioannis, all ultimately originating from the Hebrew name Yohanan, meaning Yahweh has been gracious. Moving to the Magi's, or the three wise men who bring myrrh, frankincense, and gold to Jesus. They only appear in the Gospel of Matthew, and it doesn't mention their names or how many there were, but some of the most famous names for them in Christian tradition are Melchior, Balthazar, and Caspar. Melchior possibly comes from the Hebrew phrase Melchior, meaning my king is light. Balthazar's origin is the Akkadian phrase Bel Shar Uzur, meaning Bel protects the king. And the last one is Caspar, which comes from the Aramaic Gizbar, which means treasurer. Next we have King Herod, who was the ruler of Judea during the time of Jesus' birth according to the Gospel of Matthew. In the biblical story, King Herod orders the massacre of the innocents, attempting to eliminate the newborn Jesus after hearing of the prophecy that the new king of the Jews had been born. His name Herod comes from the ancient Greek word Herodes, which is derived from a root word meaning hero. Thank you all for watching. Wishing you and your loved ones a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I will see you next year on Council of Knowledge.